Okay, ready to dive into the world of animation. We're looking at this research paper called AniDoc Animation Creation Made Easier.
Oh, yeah,
And trust me, this is way cooler than your average technical paper.
definitely.
Think of it like a sneak peek into the future of how cartoons are made.
I like that.
We've got character designs and sketches and algorithms.
Yeah.
This paper lays out how AI could be a game changer for animators.
It really does feel like that, doesn't it?
Yeah.
This paper is packed with designs and sketches and algorithms that could completely change how animators work.
hmm
It's pretty exciting stuff.
And the name AniDoc itself is a clever nod to Doc from Snow White,
Oh, yeah.
the OG animated feature film.
hmm
It's like a reminder that even cutting-edge tech has roots in animation history.
I love that connection.
Okay, so before we get into AniDoc, let's
Mhm.
quickly recap how traditional 2D animation works.
Right.
You've got your four main stages: character design, keyframing, in-betweening, and then the coloring stage.
And that coloring
Ah.
stage, that's where things get really intense.
Right?
Can you imagine having to color in every single frame by hand for a whole movie?
Oh my gosh.
It's mind-boggling.
No.
Thousands and thousands of drawings just for a few minutes of animation.
Yeah,
It's a huge undertaking.
exactly. And that's where AniDoc steps in.
It is.
It's designed to automate a big chunk of that coloring process using AI to bring those line drawings to life.
And it all starts with something called video diffusion models.
Okay.
Think of it like this. These AI models have basically watched countless hours of video,
Right.
learning how things move and how colors are used.
Yeah.
So when you give them a sketch, they can almost imagine how it would look in motion,
Yeah.
filling in the details based on what they've learned.
Wow. So basically, it's like having a super talented, super fast assistant who can color in your animations for you.
That's a great way to put it.
Okay, so how does this actually work?
Uh-huh.
AniDoc needs two main things.
Right.
First, a full color reference image of the character, and second, a sequence of sketches, the keyframes of the animation.
Right. Those keyframes show the main poses, like the character walking or jumping.
Mm-hmm.
Then AniDoc uses the reference image as a guide to color in those sketches, creating a full color animation.
Okay.
It's kind of like color by numbers, but for moving pictures.
That sounds incredible.
It is.
But I'm guessing making this work is a bit more complicated than just telling the AI to color inside the lines, right?
You're absolutely right.
Right.
There are some pretty big challenges when you try to automate something as complex as animation.
I bet.
For example, the mismatch problem.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the reference image might be in a different pose than the sketches.
Oh, quick.
So the AI needs to be smart enough to figure out how to apply the colors correctly,
Yeah.
even if things don't line up perfectly.
Ah, I see. So it's like trying to wrap a 2D image onto a 3D object.
Exactly.
Things don't always fit smoothly.
Exactly. Another challenge is that real-world animation sketches are often binarized. That means they're just black lines on a white background, no shading or detail.
Oh.
And that can make it really hard for the AI to understand the shape and depth of the character and where the colors should go.
I would have thought simpler sketches would be easier for the AI to work with,
Yeah,
but it sounds like it actually makes things harder.
it does.
Wow.
And on top of that, traditional animation often uses a ton of sketches to create smooth movement,
Right.
which means more work for the animators.
Okay, so we've got the mismatch issue, the challenges of working with binarized sketches, and then the sheer volume of sketches needed.
Yep.
That's a lot for AniDoc to handle.
It is.
So how does it overcome these hurdles?
Well, it has some pretty clever solutions up its sleeve.
Okay.
For the mismatch problem, it uses something called correspondence-guided colorization.
Okay.
Imagine the AI drawing invisible lines connecting key points on the reference image to the corresponding points on the sketch,
Oh, wow.
like the tip of the nose or the corner of the eye. This helps it figure out exactly where to put the colors, even when the poses are different.
That's really smart, like creating a map between the reference and the sketches.
Exactly.
And for those simple binarized sketches, AniDoc is trained on a massive data set of similar sketches.
Right.
So it learns to recognize patterns and understand the structure even without shading.
It does.
So it's kind of like giving the AI an art education.
Yeah.
It learns to see like an animator.
Precisely. And to make things even better, it's also trained to distinguish between the character and the background.
Okay.
So it doesn't accidentally color everything the same.
Oh, that's good.
It's all about precision.
Yeah, that background distinction is key.
Yeah.
You don't want your character disappearing into the scenery because they're both the same shade of green.
Exactly. And then for that last challenge, the sheer number of sketches.
Right.
AniDoc has a trick up its sleeve called sparse sketch training. This means it can create smooth animations using just the start and end sketches,
Oh.
filling in the gaps automatically.
Wait, so instead of needing an animator to draw every single frame, the AI can figure out all the in-between steps on its own.
Yes.
That's amazing.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like having an AI in-betweener helping to speed up the whole process.
You mentioned AniDoc is trained on a massive data set of sketches.
Right.
Where does that data come from? Are we talking about classic Disney films or something else?
That's a great question.
Yeah.
And leads perfectly into what we'll be covering next.
Okay.
AniDoc's training data is actually a carefully curated collection of, it's a mix, actually. They've used publicly available data sets of animation sketches.
Okay.
Some from online repositories, even some created specifically for this project.
Got it.
The key was to have a diverse range of styles and movements for the AI to learn from.
That makes sense. So it's not just copying Disney or any one particular style.
Yeah.
It's learning the underlying principles of animation from a wide range of sources.
Exactly, and the results are pretty impressive. The paper shows AniDoc outperforming other animation AI when it comes to creating smooth and accurate results.
Oh.
They used a bunch of technical measurements, but what it boils down to is this. AniDoc produces animations that are closer to what a human animator would create.
So not only is it faster, but it's also producing higher quality animation.
Yes.
That's a pretty big deal.
It is, and one of the most exciting things about AniDoc is its flexibility.
Oh, okay.
For example, it can use the same character design to color different animation sequences.
Okay.
So if you're creating multiple scenes with the same character, you don't have to start from scratch each time.
So you could have your character walking through a forest in one scene, then dancing in a ballroom in the next, and AniDoc could handle the coloring for both, all using the same reference image.
Exactly, and it can even use different reference images for the same set of sketches.
Really?
This means animators have more control over the style of the final animation.
That's cool. So you could try out different color palettes, different lighting styles.
Yeah.
Even experiment with making the character look slightly different in different scenes.
Yeah.
The possibilities are pretty mind-blowing.
Right. It's not just about making things faster, it's about opening up creative avenues that might have been too time-consuming or expensive before.
This all sounds incredible,
It is.
but I know no technology is perfect.
Yeah.
What are some of the limitations of AniDoc?
Well, like any AI, it has its quirks.
Okay.
One limitation is that it can have trouble coloring things that don't appear in the reference image. So if your character suddenly picks up an object that wasn't in the original design, the AI might not know what color to make it.
That makes sense. It's working with the information it's been given. So if something new pops up, it has to make an educated guess,
Right.
which might not always be right.
Right.
What happens then? Does the animator have to go in and fix it manually?
Exactly. And there are tools built into AniDoc to let animators easily tweak the colors and make corrections where needed. It's designed to be a collaborative tool, not a complete replacement for the animator.
So it's more like a partnership between the artist and the AI.
That's a great way to think about it.
Okay, so we've talked about the technical side of AniDoc, its strengths and its limitations. But I think what's really fascinating is the potential impact this could have on the animation industry as a whole.
Yeah.
Where do you see this technology heading in the future?
I think it has the potential to be a real game changer.
Okay.
Imagine independent animators or small studios suddenly having the power to create high-quality animation.
Right?
That rivals big production houses.
It's like leveling the playing field, giving everyone access to the same tools and capabilities. And that could lead to a much more diverse range of stories being told.
Exactly. And it's not just about quantity.
Right.
It's about quality, too.
Yeah.
Remember how we talked about AniDoc consistently scoring higher on those technical measurements? Those higher scores translate into smoother animations, more accurate colors,
Yeah.
and just a more polished final product overall.
It's really pushing the boundaries of what's possible with animation.
It is.
It makes me wonder, what kind of creative doors could this technology open?
Well, one thing that comes to mind is the potential for more experimental animation styles. Traditionally, trying out a new style would mean a huge investment of time and resources. But with AniDoc, you could experiment with different looks much more easily.
So instead of being limited by the practicalities of hand drawing,
Yeah.
animators could really let their imaginations run wild.
Yeah.
They could explore different color palettes, line thicknesses, even the way characters move and interact with their environments.
Absolutely. It's like having a digital animation studio at your fingertips.
Wow.
And remember how we talked about AniDoc's ability to use different reference images for the same sketch sequence?
Yeah.
That opens up even more possibilities for stylistic variation.
You could have the same scene animated in a light, airy style for one part of the story, and then switch to a darker, more dramatic look for another part. It'd have a whole new layer of visual storytelling.
It does.
And don't forget about the time-saving aspect.
Right.
Faster production means more time for animators to refine their stories, develop their characters, and really hone their craft.
Exactly.
So it's not about replacing human artists,
Right.
but rather giving them better tools to tell their stories.
I think that's key.
Okay, so we've talked about the technical side, the creative potential, but I want to step back for a second and think about the bigger picture.
Okay.
What does the development of tools like AniDoc tell us about the future of animation as a whole?
It tells us that the future is bright.
Okay.
And it's going to be filled with incredible stories told in ways we haven't even imagined yet.
Wow.
The barriers to entry are getting lower. The tools are getting more powerful.
Yeah.
And the creative possibilities are expanding exponentially.
It's a really exciting time to be involved in animation, both as a creator and as a viewer.
It is.
And it seems like AI is playing a bigger and bigger role in that evolution.
Yeah.
Do you think there are any potential downsides to that? Could we see a loss of that handcrafted human touch that makes animation so special?
That's a great question, and one that a lot of people are thinking about. The key is finding the right balance between embracing the efficiency and power of AI while still preserving the artistry and human touch that makes animation so unique.
It reminds me of how digital photography changed the game for photographers.
Oh, yeah.
It didn't eliminate the need for photographers, but it did change the skills they needed to succeed.
Right.
Do you think we'll see a similar shift in the animation industry?
Absolutely. Animators of the future will need to be comfortable working with AI, understanding its strengths and limitations.
Yeah.
They'll need to be able to use these tools effectively to bring their visions to life.
Right.
It'll be a collaboration, a partnership between artist and technology.
And that raises an interesting question, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What will animation education look like in this new world?
Yeah.
Will art schools need to revamp their curriculum to incorporate AI training?
I think we'll definitely see a shift in that direction.
Yeah.
We'll probably see more emphasis on conceptual development, visual storytelling, character design.
Right.
The core elements that make animation so compelling. The technical skills will still be important, but they'll be augmented by AI, allowing students to focus on the creative heart of the craft.
So it's not about replacing animators.
No.
It's about empowering them to work at a higher level.
Right.
To push the boundaries of what's possible in animation.
Yeah.
And who knows what incredible new styles and techniques will emerge from that. It's pretty exciting to think about.
It really is. One thing that comes to mind is the potential for more personalized animation experiences.
Oh.
Imagine AI tools that could adapt an animation style to your individual preferences, creating something truly unique for each viewer.
That's a really cool idea.
It is.
It's like having a bespoke animation tailored just for you.
Right.
And it gets to the heart of what makes animation so special.
Yeah.
The ability to connect with audiences on an emotional level.
Exactly. And with AI helping to streamline the production process, animators will have more time and freedom to explore those emotional connections, to craft stories that resonate deeply with viewers.
So as we wrap up our deep dive into AniDoc, what's the one big takeaway you want listeners to remember?
I think the main message is this.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid of AI in animation.
Okay.
Embrace it, explore it, see it as a tool that can amplify your creativity. The future of animation is bright.
Yeah.
And it's going to be filled with incredible stories told in ways we haven't even imagined yet.
Wow.
And AI is going to be a key part of that journey.
Beautifully said. So to all you aspiring animators out there, don't just dream it, animate it. And who knows, maybe with the help of AI, your creations will be the ones shaping the future of this amazing art form.
I can't wait to see what you come up with.
And on that inspiring note, I think it's time for us to wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
We've covered a lot of ground, from the technical nuts and bolts of AniDoc to the far-reaching implications of AI in animation.
We have.
We've explored the challenges, the possibilities, and the exciting future that awaits this incredible art form.
We've done it.
But most importantly, we've given you, our listener, a glimpse into the world of AI-powered animation.
Right.
We've sparked your curiosity, and now it's your turn to explore.
It is.
Keep those creative sparks flying. The future of animation is in your hands.
Until next time.
Until next time, happy animating.